Alright, what's good, y'all? It's your Martini back at it again. One of them video, you already know what it is. And I know it's been a hot minute since I've been on here. How y'all doing? Miss y'all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. No boss. I've been doing that all day ever since it was in my head to do that. So I had made a little tickety talk. No boss. But yes, it's your Martini. I am back with another video. This is actually like the maybe even sixth time trying to make this video. I'm redoing the outro and the intro simply because my makeup's done up and I feel good. When I was making this video, I was in bed looking not a hot mess, but because I was going through some physical things. I was going through some things. Nothing bad. It's just nature. It's just Mother Nature doing her thing. I don't like being a woman sometimes. But for today's video, as you can see from the title, I'm going to show you how I edit my photos for Instagram. My normal ones, how it looks like how I look on the camera right now, and then versus how I edit my blurry photos. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you already know how my aesthetic kind of looks. I'm honestly thinking about switching it up too. I've been thinking into getting I don't know, making aesthetic collages and things like that, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna experiment with that. But I've been getting inspiration from obviously to do my makeup and to experiment with different types of makeup, especially with eyeshadow. And I was getting inspired because on my Pinterest, I made a whole board of wallpaper inspos, and I was getting really inspired to just get done up. I wasn't even trying to leave the house today. I really wasn't. I ended up leaving the house. I wasn't out for long though, but that's okay. I didn't want to go outside. Okay, it was cold. Okay, the last time I checked the temperature and where I'm from, the weather's bipolar, but it was 62, 63 degrees outside, and that was too cold for me. I'm going to show y'all how I edit my Instagram photos, and then I have some news to share. You know what? I probably will be looking different at the end. Is that tissue? Ew. Okay, but anyways, okay, that was gross. But I think I'm gonna leave a portion of the video where I don't look like this, because I had already pre-recorded and I'm literally almost done with this video. All I have to do is just edit. That's it, really. Just do a voice. I just have to edit, small editing. That's it. But I think a portion of the video I won't be looking like this. So if you see me at the end, and let me say this, we're going to be talking about very serious topics that are worldly things going on. So that's just a heads up. I'm going to put the timestamp up here. If you just want to go ahead and just hear what I got to say and then come right back and watch the rest of the video and how what I'm doing editing my photos, then you can do that. By all means, do what you want. I ain't your mom. I ain't your auntie. I ain't your grandma. I ain't your daddy. That's one thing for sure. Okay, I don't got no kids. I ain't going to tell you what to do. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. You do what you want to do and how you spend your time and what you do. I ain't in charge of you, okay? I'm in charge of me. That's it. I don't want to be in charge of anybody else. That's a big responsibility. But yeah, I'm gonna be talking about serious worldly topics, and I'm gonna say this, even though I'm gonna say it before. I will be leaving links down below for donations, resources, educational purposes. I will leave all that stuff down below. So yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna show y'all how I edit my videos. All right, it's voiceover time. You know what that means. It is time to edit some pictures. All right, so the app I use is Me Too. This is the only one I use to edit my pictures. So let's get into it. I believe the picture I chose was the fourth row in the middle, where I'm kind of leading and my head is tilted to the side and my face a little bit more closer to the camera. You'll see it. Sometimes it takes a long time for this app to upload, and I think it is because I have so many photos and videos in my phone. But let's get into it. So contrast, I don't go too crazy. I stay in the 20s because sometimes doing it too much, it just does too much. And now going into shadows, since I like that dark, I like my pictures to have a more dark-esque feel to it. That's just my vibe, and since I'm alternative, I like the dark and mysterious vibes. Now I started using light recently because I noticed that sometimes my pictures it was a little too dark, so I had to add a little bit of light. Highlight was just too much, so ambiance is a new thing, really new, so I chose 45. Usually I stick to 30s or 20s, but I chose 45 for this one. Sharpen, I stay within 11 to 13. It just really depends on how I'm feeling about my pictures and how dark I want them to look and how sharp I want them to look. This is all I do with my regular photos. I don't do too much. I don't edit my face. I just edit my lighting. That's all I do. And now for filters, because I use the one Boradox. I don't know what that was. I like what Boradox does to my pictures. I like the feel of it. I also do choose Nightfall. Sometimes, like I said, it just depends on the picture. So with the intensity of Boradox, I stick with 38 or sometimes 39, 37, just depends. But this is how I edit my regular pictures, and I'm going to do some before and after so you can see, which is that little thing in the corner, like right where my hair is. So yeah. And now for my blurry pictures, I use Snapchat. Look at me. I look so tired, but I'm just being silly and goofy. Look at me. And so now I believe the filter is called Vampire Cyber. I believe that's what it's called. If not, I will put it somewhere on the screen. Just type it in on Snapchat. Right there, you'll see Vampire Cyber. And so I was just choosing which picture I wanted to choose. And I realized that I did choose that one. But I realized I already had it on my phone and I already edited it. But I'm just going to use it as an example of how I edit my blurry photos. I basically kind of do the same thing, but not really. It's a little bit different, but I'm gonna show y'all in a second. It kind of does take a while. You can see that I already edited it, but I'm just gonna do it again. And I actually kind of like it the second time I edit it. So with the contrast, I go heavy into like the 30s usually, and that's what I chose, 32. Shadows, I go dark because it is really bright, so I think I stick to 32. And then for ambiance, dark as well. I did 28, but I do go in the 30s, maybe 32, but I was pretty comfortable with 28. Sharpen, 11, same thing. I stick between 11 to 13. Just really depends. And here I chose 12 for clarity. Now saturation is what I use for my blurry photos because the filter itself already whitens me out. See, you can look at the difference. Look at that. It's so nice to see some color back in my photos. So I chose to do 13 of saturation. And now with the filters, the Boradox, again, I believe normally I go a little bit higher with the Boradox filter, the intensity. So I would go in the 40s, but I chose to stick to 38. It looked like, nope, I chose 49. So that's how intense I like my blurry photos to look. But this is how I edit my blurry photos. Look at the difference. Look at that. It's just beautiful. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so now here to talk about the serious stuff. So if you are not aware of, I'm going to be mainly talking about maybe 3 to 4 topics that I am aware on, maybe 3 to 4. But I will still be leaving resources for the other ones that I will be mentioning still. I just don't know much still, even though I have been trying to keep up to date with the stuff that is happening around the world in different areas of the world. But let me start with the main 3 that I can think of and that I know the most knowledge of off the top of my head. So first, let's talk about Palestine. If you're not aware of what's going on in Palestine, oh my gosh, where do we even begin? Oh my gosh. Basically, the Palestinian people are suffering on their own land. Israel is trying to the Israeli government, mind you, the Israeli government are trying to eradicate any and all existence of the Palestinian people in Gaza right now. Over 100, and as I'm aware of, maybe even 170 journalists have been martyred and targeted because they are spreading the news of what the Israeli government is doing to them in Palestine right now. Their goal is to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people. That is their goal. That's their goal. Over, I want to say it, and it feels like more, I want to say maybe even 30,000, if not more, Palestinian lives have been lost, and mainly women and children. Okay. Imagine being pushed off your land, where you are rightfully from and where you are rightfully meant to be. There are displaced children. There are at least 2 million displaced people in Gaza right now, north and south, because a lot of people think there is no more Palestinians in the north. That's not true. There are still Palestinians in the north. They are struggling for food. They are being forced to make flour out of animal feed. Things to feed the animals, like cows, horses, donkeys, the sorts. They're being forced to make bread and flour for bread out of animal feed. Women are having to use tent material as sanitary pads. Palestinian children are dying from heart attacks because of the bombings and the trauma. Doctors are having to perform surgery without anesthesia. So people are dying from the surgeries because there's no anesthesia. Because the pain is just is that much. And I'm talking about October 7th, but this has been going on for 75 years, since 1948. But apparently only people want to talk about October 7th. I didn't know anything about this until October 7th. So I'm going to be real and honest. I didn't know anything about this and most of the monstrosities until from October 7th to later on. And mind you, last year. Okay, October 7th of 2023. But mind you, this whole thing with the Palestinians and the Israeli government has been happening for 75 years. The Nakba. The amount of deaths since October 7th have surpassed the Nakba. And I will be leaving resources down below if you want more knowledge on what's happening, whether you have been aware about what's happening or not. I deeply advise you to educate yourselves. Email your representatives. I will also be leaving resources for that, to email and call your representatives if you don't know who they are. There's, for the links that I will be having, there are scripted emails that if you choose to email, like let's say you're too anxious to talk on the phone, and that's me, I'm one of them, you can use a scripted email, and if you want to edit it just a little bit, that's what I do. I add more information in there. You can go ahead and do that. I will be adding the link for that as well. I will be adding links to donate. I will be adding links to so many other things. Oh, and let me not forget, as I'm making this video, a Canadian Palestinian journalist of the name of Mansour, and I had been keeping up to date with Mansour, I want to say a little bit after October 7th, and so many others. He is missing, but people on the ground have confirmed that he was taken by the IDF, which is the Israeli, whatever soldiers, Israeli soldiers that work for the Israeli government. People on the ground in Gaza have confirmed that he was taken by the IDF, and he has been missing for a week, since last Sunday. It's been a week since he's been missing. It's been a week. Yeah, so all the information to knowledge yourself on what's happening to the Palestinian people in Gaza, and not just with what's happening now. If you want to get more knowledge on what's been happening before, I will be leaving resources for that. I will be leaving for education, calling for a ceasefire, donation links, all of the sorts. I'm going to put everything in a category for each of the countries that I'm going to be talking about. But that's what we got for Palestine right now. Our goal is for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Is really to pull their IDF soldiers out of Gaza. But apparently, the Israeli leader, President Netanyahu, he already disclosed that he has no intention of pulling the IDF soldiers out of Gaza. It was never about the hostages. because if Netanyahu cared about the Israeli hostages that are in Gaza, he still wouldn't be bombing Palestine. So if anyone wants to try to talk about, oh, what about the hostages? It was never about the hostages. It's all about power and control at this point. And for anyone that wants to say, oh, I don't want to get into this, it's too political. We're so past political right now. We're at this point, we're talking about human life being ethnically cleansed. This is a genocide. This is not a war. This is a genocide against the Palestinian people. And you can disagree. I don't really care because I know where I stand. And you will not catch me on the wrong side of history. You will never. You will not. No. Supporting the oppressor? No. Now the next one is Congo. If you are not aware of what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, I hope I said that right. The demographic. I think it's that. But what is happening in Congo? They are being forced, and specifically children as young as the age of 3 to 5, if I'm not wrong, they are being forced to mine materials that power our cars, laptops, phones, the one I'm using right now. They are mining cobalt and coltan that is powering our electronics and cars in this very moment. Imagine your child being forced to mine materials for other countries when they should be in school, learning, getting their education, and enjoying life as a kid, enjoying childhood, having a wonderful, happy childhood. But no, instead, they're being forced to mine materials for us in different countries. And mind you, they have no mining equipment. They're using their hands, their bare hands, which the materials of them mining it with their bare hands can cause detrimental damage to their nerves and their body as a whole. There's no equipment. The amount of Congolese people and children have died in the mines because apparently companies don't want to give the proper equipment. They can't fund the proper equipment to mine these materials. Like, like you got all this money from the very things that you are forcing other people to mine materials for you to make your millions and billions of dollars off whatever um, technology that you created. You can make all this money with all this stuff, but you can't pay for equipment for people to mine your main source of product to fuel your product safely. And let's not even talk about the Congolese women that are being sexually assaulted every 4 hours by soldiers. I forget which, but that's what I remember. And the amount of stories that I have seen and listened to by Congolese women who are, and mind you, teenagers too, they're still children. From the ages of maybe 12 to however old up. I want to say to 16 or 15. But imagine your daughter. Imagine one of your female best friends or a female person that you are close to. Imagine your nieces. Imagine your grandchild, your granddaughter being sexually, physically abused every 4 hours by at least a group of soldiers, if not one. And then they kill them afterwards. I will never forget the story about this girl when she said she was 15 years old, and her best friend, they would be kept in a hole, and they would be sexually assaulted every 4 to 5 hours. And then one day they took her best friend, did whatever they did to her, and then they killed her and then put her back in that same very hole with her best friend. She had to sit in that hole with her dead best friend for 3 to 5 days. Imagine if that was you in that situation. Imagine if that was your best friend in that situation. Imagine if that was your niece, your grandchild, your granddaughter in that situation. Not only you got probably your son, your nephew, or your grandson already being forced to mine materials to power other people's electronics and cars in different countries by force. They can't get a proper education and they can't even enjoy their childhood. So the next time you think about buying the newest iPhone, the newest car, the newest Tesla, I want you to think about the Congolese people being forced to mine materials just to power your electronics in your cars. I also will be leaving resources for that as well. Ways to boycott for not just Congo and Palestine. I will be leaving resources of who to boycott, why to boycott, all the things like that. And there are places, and if you do, like I said, if you plan on buying any new electronics, get it refurbished, get it used. And this applies for cars as well. If you like, but many people do that already. But this applies for mainly electronic devices such as iPhones, laptops, tablets, whatever. If you plan on, or if you're thinking about buying a new updated, whatever, think about buying it refurbished or used. Before your main thought is, let me go buy a brand new one. I want you to keep in your head about the Congolese people who are being forced to mine cobalt and coltan in unsafe conditions in the mines. And mind you, they're also dying in the mines because if you don't know, mines can collapse. Because what are mines made out of? Dirt and soil. And what can collapse? Dirt and soil. So just keep them in your mind. And I will also mention, and I still don't know how, I still can't remember what's happening in Sudan, Tigray. We can talk about Maui. Let's talk about Maui, Hawaii. No, that's in New Zealand. Let's talk about Hawaii. Right, Maui? Yeah, Maui. Okay. Let's talk about Hawaii. How, if you were not aware of the fires that happened last year, I want to say in maybe it was September, at most, maybe August, September. Let's talk about the fires in Maui. They still haven't started rebuilding homes in Maui. But guess what they're more concerned about? Tourism. They're more worried about tourism, and when I mean they, I mean whoever's in office in Hawaii, whoever is in control. I don't remember, but apparently they're more worried about tourism than the native people of Hawaii. They haven't even started reconstructing the burned down, demolished homes from the fire. They're more concerned about tourism than they are about helping the people, the indigenous people of Maui, have safe living conditions. They're more worried about making money through tourism than helping the actual people who are native to that land so that they can live on their land, safely and happily. It's insane. Alright, y'all, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I gotta make this quick because if my phone cuts off at 2 minutes because I don't have enough storage. But anyways, I encourage you to educate yourselves on what's happening, what's going on in this world. I deeply, deeply, deeply encourage you to, I'm trying to make this quick, but also informative, and I gotta do my outro. But yes, I encourage you to, if not all, at least choose like 2 out of the 3, or the 4, if I mentioned more than that, to educate yourselves on. At least share. If you can't donate, don't feel obligated, don't feel bad. Share, because that's what I do. Share, repost on your social medias. All right, I forgot where I left off, but I encourage you want to educate yourself and to uplift the voices that need help, their voices being uplifted, and email your representatives, call your representatives, and I'm going to continue to be uplifting and sharing news and people's stories that are facing oppression at this time in their countries. and even in America, because there's stuff going on here as well. But I'm going to be doing my part as someone who has empathy and a soul and feelings and emotions, and I'm going to help in the best way that I can from where I'm at, from where I live. But yes, and that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Like this video if you like this video. Comment down below what you want to see me do, because like I always say, I am always open to suggestions, but I also got ideas, so stay tuned for more videos to come. Definitely this year. Don't know when, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Okay, subscribe if you want to see this face more, or if you're interested in what I'm going to be doing, or you like what I do already. If you watched my previous videos that I have already up, share it with whoever you think would like this video or would like the type of content that I do on this channel. Post notifications so you know whenever I post, which is every once in a blue moon, because like I said, I'm just a busy girly. I'm just a girl. Oh, and since it is February, happy Black History Month to all my black brothers and sisters, they, thems, okay? Happy Black History Month to all my black queer individuals with y'all, okay? The B and the Q is in the chat with you. Mwah. If you didn't know already, I am part of the alphabet mafia. I am. The B and the Q is in the chat with y'all. And yeah, I think that's it. But also, Black History is every day, not just the month of February. Okay, Black History is every day, every minute, every hour, every second, every month, and every year, and every century and decade. Just remind y'all, and support black-owned businesses, support black people. Support. But y'all, love y'all. And I believe that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, post notifications. Happy Black History Month. And I will see you in the next video. This is